a cloudy and cold, at least where I am in Rocky River, Thursday morning. Dustin is in West Virginia. What's
Indeed,
the weather
I am.
like there?
Well, it's currently, Adam, about 58 degrees
Oh.
in Bridgeport, West Virginia.
Yeah.
And we're looking at a high of about 72 today here.
Oh, you got much nicer weather. Here it's like 50 and it's a high of 50.
Well, I'm actually going to be getting in a car here in about 35 minutes and
Oh.
driving back to Northeast Ohio. But yeah, it's a little warmer. I'm about 3 hours south of Cleveland.
Yeah. Oh, that's it. I don't know why it feels
Three
like
and a half,
West Virginia's further
roughly.
away, but all right, cool.
Dude, it's not far at all. Dude, it's straight down 77.
Yeah.
You hit basically Parkersburg. You take a left, and you're here. I mean, I'm like 15, 25, well, about 20 minutes from Morgantown.
So you got the golf course behind you. For those who can't tell, it's a little hard to tell that it's a golf course. If you knew it.
If I can show a little bit.
Yeah, there you go. Now it's a little easier to see. Yeah, that's good. So how'd you shoot this week?
Not great.
Not great? Is your brother really good?
Dude, I'm not that good at golf. My brother's pretty good at golf.
Yeah.
My other buddy's pretty good at golf.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm okay.
Do they play tennis? Does your brother play tennis?
No.
And your
friend? He does not.
No. All right. So
dude, golf to me,
yeah.
Now that I play so much tennis,
yeah,
I probably sound like such a snob. Golf is so boring.
Wow.
It's so freaking boring. It's so slow. It's like it's like tennis. I can screw up, and I get another tennis ball to hit in 20 seconds.
Right. Yeah, I find golf very boring, but I like tennis. I actually, believe it or not, played a little tennis when I was a kid. I don't know if we've ever talked about that.
You've never talked about this.
Yeah, I played a little when I was a kid. When I was very young, and I enjoyed it because we actually had tennis courts very close to my house, outdoor tennis courts at our park that anybody could use, and they were in solid shape. Now they've kind of fallen into disrepair over the years, but now when I was a kid, they were in decent shape. Plus, when I was a kid, we would play this game, my friends and I, when we didn't have enough players to play baseball. We'd play a game we called Whack-It Ball, which was essentially baseball with a tennis racket and a tennis ball.
Okay.
Which was fun. It was like self-pitching. You throw the ball up, and we could play it on a smaller field, like 3-on-3, whatever. So, and my mother's obsessed with tennis, not quite to your level obsession.
She still plays, right?
She still plays.
Florida.
Into her 70s. And when she's home in the summer in Brooklyn, she plays, and she loves to watch it, and, so. Anyway.
Oh, I think that's great. Yeah. I think it's great because, hearing people play in their 70s is phenomenal because I want to play in my 80s.
Dude, they have all these like, how down in Florida you got all these communities like these.
This guy's right behind me weed whacking right now.
I heard something. I was perfect timing for the weed whacking. We don't hear it that much. It's only background. Okay. It's fine.
He's literally right behind me. Look at this. Can I show you? Okay.
There we go. The weed whacker.
There he goes.
Here he is. There he's gone. So these, as you know, in Florida, there's all these retirement communities or these over 55 communities. They all have teams. All these communities have a tennis team, and they play other retirees, and it's great because it keeps them younger. Doing that.
They're probably playing USTA like I play. I mean, there's levels for every age group.
Yeah.
I'm finally in the 40 and over, baby.
Look at that. That's right.
And now, no more. I don't got to play those 18-year-old kids anymore. Although I feel like I'm 18.
Yeah, sometimes I feel.
Anywho, we got a lot to talk about. Sorry, I'm talking about my tennis.
No, it's all right.
I can talk about that for days.
Which,
we got important shit.
Yeah, but before we get to that, the other important shit. We both are doing shows now with the Betting Weekly Studios as part of the Bet Rivers family. I'm on the Betting Weekly Hardball Tuesdays through Thursdays, so I'll be back on that today at 2. And of course, you do the tennis show there at 1:00. Yeah. And when's the next time you're on?
I am on. Actually, I'm usually on Mondays, but next week I'm going to be in Florida. I'm actually coming back to Ohio to do the show with you tomorrow, right? Are you in tomorrow?
On UCSS?
Correct.
Yes.
All right, so I'm doing the show with you tomorrow, and then I'm leaving the studio in Cleveland. I'm hopping on a plane and flying to Naples.
Oh, nice.
For the weekend for a wedding, and then I'm coming back Monday evening. But I'm going to do the tennis show on Tuesday with my buddy Mitch.
Yeah.
And actually, I'm with Nigel. I think next week. Okay. Nigel Seeley. Over across the pond.
That's right. And tennis is obviously a popular sport across the world because they play tennis everywhere and every moment.
it's really exciting because all the good European tennis is just beginning. Like we're approaching Roland Garros and Wimbledon right around the corner. So like when we're on at 1:00, it's usually during live matches. So we can actually talk about the matches that are going on as cool. We're doing the pod. Yeah.
All right. So everybody watch Betting Weekly Tennis live every weekday at 1 p.m. Dustin will next be on
Monday or
Monday.
Tuesday. Next Tuesday.
Next Tuesday. Sorry. And then of course Betting Weekly Hardball at 2 p.m. Doug Kazarian on every day, and I'll be with him Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. All right. You know Doug?
A little bit, just through social media. We've kind of been friendly throughout the years.
Yeah, it's gone well so far. He's and he's out of Vegas, so he's Mr. Gambling. So anyway, we got a lot of other things to get to, so let's do it. The Cavs had a magnificent season. They had a magnificent first round. I haven't spoken to you since they've played these first 2 games. A magnificent season seems to be going down the tubes in a hurry. Between the terrible game 1, the collapse in game 2, and the injuries, do you have any confidence right now that the Cavs can come back and win this series?
Of course they can. Right. I mean, it's very similar to it's ironically enough, the Boston Celtics are in the exact same situation.
And they don't even have the injury excuse.
Right. So they're in a little bit of a tougher spot. Well, I don't know. Both teams are in a tough spot. You're down 0-2. Sure. So regardless, you lost your first 2 home games in the series, and so you're in a really, really tough spot.
Yeah.
Now, the positive thing is both teams, Cavs and Celtics, are the better team when healthy, talking about the Cavaliers. So the concern for Cleveland here is who the hell's going to play in game 3?
Yeah.
And why are we not playing in games 1 and 2?
Well, yeah, exactly. And we talked about this the other day. And if you're Donovan Mitchell, and I mean, that was a legendary performance game 2, and it gets wasted because there's not enough help. He scores 48. He's playing on like one leg. He can't, his jump shots kind of bad. He can't hit threes right now because of the calf. It's affecting his shot. I mean, he's been terrible from 3. I want to say he's like 2 of 20 from 3. I don't know. I can't remember exactly, but he's been terrible from 3. But he's going to the basket. He's getting the crap beat out of him left and right.
Yep.
And meanwhile, Darius has been out 2 weeks. Mobley's got a sprained ankle. Okay, maybe he can't go. Hunter's got a dislocated thumb. That gets popped back in. Maybe he can't shoot. I don't know, but I know it is. If I'm Donovan Mitchell, I'm a little frustrated that these guys are not out there. So I wonder if tomorrow any of them will play because it's going to be hard. I mean, what more can Donovan do? I don't think he can do anything.
I promise you this much: if they don't play in Game 3, the Cavs, in my opinion, will not win.
No,
and the series is over, and this great year that we've had is all for naught. So we've got like 24 hours here, to figure out what the hell is going to happen with this season.
Yeah,
and I listen. I know that the Donovan's got a turf toe. And they're trying.
Darius.
Excuse me, Darius has a turf toe, and they're trying to hold him out as long as they can. It was risky. It was risky to hold him out of game 2, but it looked like the right call when you're up 20 points.
Yeah,
like no one's thinking, oh man, we sure needed Darius tonight. Like no one thought that in the moment. Now after the game, when you lose on a buzzer beater, when you were up, whatever it was, 10 points in the fourth quarter, 11 points in the fourth quarter. Like you got to find a way to close that out. You shouldn't lose that game.
They were up 7 with a minute to go.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. I mean, dude, the other night, the Nuggets, I fell asleep, dude. I fell asleep. I actually bet the Nuggets to win like plus 800.
Yeah.
And they were down 9 with like 2:40 to go. I fell asleep. I woke up, they won. I mean, if you were watching that Pacers-Cavs game at any point during the game, and fell asleep, you're stunned to find out that they won.
Yeah, so look at that. Up 20 with 6:30 to go in the third. Up, I think, 14 at the start of the fourth, and up 7 with just under a minute to go, and just everything went wrong in that final minute. The Thunder did bounce back and destroyed the Nuggets last. That was the first win by a home team in this round. The home teams had been 0-6. Before last night. Did you see the end of the Knicks Celtics game last night?
I did.
That was, I mean, Jason Tatum put himself in a kind of tricky spot at the end, but man, that was great defense to not foul at all
Dude.
and knock that ball around. That was pretty impressive by the Knicks right there.
And here's the other thing too. Like Jalen Brunson, is he not
Oh my
the most
God.
most clutch player?
Yeah, I mean, obviously he's a great regular season player. He's a top 10 player, 15 at the worst, but he takes his game to another level in the postseason. And
he's an animal, absolute animal. I mean, similar to Donovan. Frankly, Donovan's doing the same thing.
Yeah. But what the Knicks have done is even more impressive than the Pacers, because the Pacers have had the benefit of the Cavs being injured. The Knicks are playing the defending champs. They're healthy, and they still won. They came back. First team in playoff history to come back down 20 or more consecutive games. Look at this. In this series, teams are now even, both minus 110. The Pacers, on the other hand, are now favored. We had that up a second ago. If you guys want to put that back up. Yeah, Pacers minus 200 now at Bet Rivers. But the Cavs are actually favored tonight. I'm going to get the latest line here at Bet Rivers. We got the Cavs favored by 3 on the road. Maybe that's a thought that somebody's going to play. I got to think Darius, if nobody else. I don't know about Mobley.
Adam, let's be honest. Even without Darius,
yeah,
the Cavs were up 20 points midway through the third without Darius.
Yeah.
So, like, with everything being the same, the Cavs are still the better team, I think.
Oh, yeah, sure. But with 3 of your top 6 players hurt and 2 of your top 3 in Mobley and Garland, it's hard. I think they can win tonight if Garland's back. I think if all 3 are still out, I think it's going to be very hard for them to win. But if Garland comes back, I think they've got a shot. But I'm now worried about Donovan. Like, how can he do what he did again? Can he have that kind of game again? I mean, he's got to be so, just wiped out. And can we? I said this in my post game the other night, Dustin. Can we hard foul the Pacers a little bit? Like, they're beating the shit out of our team. Everybody's getting beaten up on the Cavs, and we don't let's throw an elbow. Let's knock somebody on their ass. I mean, can we show some physicality and toughness? The whole league thinks the Cavs are soft. That's
well, they until proven otherwise, they are.
Yeah.
Like, if you don't do it in the playoffs, and the Cavs haven't, and they're getting the punched in the mouth right now by the Pacers. And by the way, the officials are letting these guys play.
Yes.
For the most part. I mean, there's a lot of contact out there on the court. And obviously you read the final 2-minute reports. Don't tweet about the Cavs got screwed on the 2-minute report.
Yes, I agree.
I don't want to care. I don't really care. These things happen all the time.
Yeah.
It's very dumb for the NBA to put this out like a day after the game.
Stupid.
Because it just makes you look ridiculous.
Yeah.
I get that they're trying to have transparency and all these things, especially in this day and age with gambling and all that. But dude, and they're trying to hold the officials accountable. It's really difficult to make these calls down the stretch. And these officials do call it differently in the playoffs. Like it or not.
I like it. I like it.
Yeah.
I like letting them play. They didn't lose because of the officials. They lost because there's 10 different things that went against them in the last minute that they controlled. Forget the and the lane violation. There's lane violations, I'm sure, on almost every free throw. Everybody's all worked up about that. I don't care. The pass from Max Strus on the inbound, letting Halliburton get the rebound. I mean,
well, even after that, I thought that the Pacers really mismanaged after the rebound and forced Halliburton to take a forced shot, like with no time on the clock, essentially with 1 second. It wasn't a good look. I mean, it wasn't a really easy, wide open look. It was a really tough shot that he had to make. I mean,
I think he's 9 of 10 this year on game-winning shots or shots in the last second. It's pretty impressive. Ty Jerome was a disaster in that game.
After being phenomenal in game 1.
All-time poor game. All right, let's switch gears from the Cavs to the Browns here, Dustin. The Browns' rookie mini camp starts tomorrow, I believe. The Browns rookies got their numbers. Talk about that process when you try. Like, I believe Harold Fannin is the only rookie that got the number he wanted. The others all had to take different numbers for whatever reason. Ultimately, the head coach has to say there. Some of these guys wanted numbers that players already had. I don't know what it is. What's that process like? I mean, I know numbers are so important to players.
Very
What was that
important
process like
players.
for you when you got your numbers at
Well,
different places?
I actually remember on draft night when I
Yeah.
was drafted by the Minnesota Vikings. After, remember I told you about how they called and all that, and
Yeah.
then they're like, "We'll call you back."
Yeah.
Well, they called me back like I don't know, half hour later or whatever, and I had to do a little bit of media, like I'm on a cell phone. They pass the phone around, or it's a
Yeah.
press conference where people tap into it. This is in 2005. We didn't have Zoom or anything like that,
Yeah.
so they were on like a essentially a conference call.
Right.
But after that, I talked with like someone from the organization, and they asked me what number I wanted, and I
Yeah.
said, "Well, I wore number 37 in college. I wore it in high school. I'd like to have 37 if it's available."
Yeah.
And it was, and so I got it. But it was difficult. Some guys would to just take whatever number they assigned it to them, and
Right.
then they would show up to rookie minicamp or to training camp in the fall or in the summer and start to negotiate with players if they wanted to get a different number. I mean, like if you had a number that a guy wanted and you're a veteran player, it was your number. Like you didn't get to take it
Yeah. Right.
because you're
Sure.
a first round pick. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter. Like no one cares that Mason Graham was a first round pick. If he wants the number he wants is taken by
Yeah.
somebody else, he's not going to get it unless he wants to pay the money.
Right. I think the
And
number he
yeah, good.
wanted is Pochich's number, right? If it was a 55?
55, I think.
I think that's what he wanted. So yeah, I mean he can go to
That's what he
Pochich.
wore in college, I believe.
Yeah, and he could go and try to, offer him something for them. But ultimately, yes, the veteran I agree with you. And that's I'm glad that's the way it is, because if you're a rookie, I don't care. I don't care if you're the first pick in the draft. You've proven nothing in the NFL. The guys that already have their jerseys, they've proven at least something in the NFL because they've played a game in the NFL. So nobody should be able to just take your number. But I got no problem with guys asking
too,
another player to trade it or whatever.
Let's say that you are the 53rd guy on the roster, and you were on the team last year, and you happen to have a number of the Browns' top pick.
Yeah,
they're not going to give it to you,
right.
like that. But it's going to be like an interesting situation, because like you as a player, if you're the first round pick, you also don't want to just come snatch the jersey from the guy who was on the practice squad a year ago.
That's right. Who's been
So it's
busting his
kind of
ass. Yeah.
because it's kind of a delicate thing, because you don't want to look like the guy who's coming in as the diva.
Right. It's a good point.
Here's a good example. So like I was in Philadelphia, and I had went there or had gone there in 2006. And I was on practice squad. I played active for a few games.
Yeah.
But going to the next year, we signed a player named Will Johnson. Well, Will Peterson was from Michigan, whatever. Anyway, he wanted number 21, and I was wearing 21.
Yeah.
And he came in, and they actually didn't even ask me at the time. They just gave it to him.
Oh,
and so my number one, I kind of was, but whatever. My number went from 21 to 25. But it was cool because Will actually, like the next day or in the next week or whatever, I came to my locker, and there was a check in my locker for $2,100.
Oh.
And I was like, that was really nice of the guy, because
Yeah.
the jersey number was 21.
Yeah.
So he gave me $100 for every number. So he gave me $2,100, and I thought that was cool.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
but that was one example.
Right. Shador obviously wore number 2 in college. He's wearing number 12. You think he's
who wears number 2 for the Browns?
I don't know. Let me look at that. That's a good question.
I'm trying to think. Is there any single? What numbers Judy? 4? Judy's 4?
Let's see. Number 2 is DeAndre Carter. He's a veteran player. DeAndre, why is the name not
running back?
Familiar? He's a wide receiver.
Oh, I don't know.
Like,
I mean, you could have made that name up.
Yeah, I don't even remember them. He's been on a million teams. He was with the Eagles in 2018. He was in 2018 with the Eagles and Texans, 2019 Texans, 2020 Texans, 2020 Bears, 2021 Commanders, 2022 Chargers, 2023 Raiders, 2024 Bears. So the guy's been in the league a while. I think he's more of a special teams guy, but he does have 117 catches for 1,300 yards in his career. 2022 with the Chargers, he had 538 yards. I don't know. I don't even remember the Browns signing him. That's funny, but he's a veteran. I mean, the guy's 32 years old.
Yeah.
He's been in the league. He, like you said, I mean, he shouldn't have to give up his number. even though he wasn't even here last year.
He's a return specialist.
Yeah. I forgot about that. So,
Anyway,
but we had you probably didn't see it because you've been away, but one of Shador's, like one of the guys, one of his like agents, not his agent, but somebody in his tight circle. A guy, his nickname is Boog.
Okay.
Was in studio with us on UCSS this week. Nice guy. And, we talked to him about Shador. And hopefully we'll get Shador either here on the podcast or on UCSS potentially at some point. But, he's in his camp, so he's obviously not going to say anything bad. But he says Shador has a real positive attitude. He's not negative about being drafted in the 5th round. And, speaking of which, Kevin Stefanski yesterday said, now that the draft is over, it's irrelevant where you were drafted in terms of making the team, making the starting lineup. Do you buy that completely, or is it half true?
I think it's half true, because if you are a first or second, even a 3rd round pick, I think you're given more of benefit of the doubt. Like you are not, if you don't have a strong camp as a rookie when you're a 1st or 2nd round pick, they're not cutting you.
Right.
They're not.
Yeah.
They're just not. If you're a 6th round pick and you have a really strong camp, like, you make the team based on merit. Like, you're not going to have an average camp as a 6th round pick and make the team.
Right.
You can have an average camp as a 1st round pick and make the team. Like, he's not being 100% truthful here. I know. I get what he's saying because it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Like, at the end of the day, you could have a Brock Purdy who was a 6th round pick, and you could have
7th round pick.
Yeah, 7th round pick, Mr. Irrelevant. Thank you. Last pick of the draft. You could have him, or you could have, Cam Ward. If Brock Purdy's better, Purdy's playing.
Well, that's exactly what happened there, right? Because they had traded up for Trey Lance, and they drafted Purdy in the 7th round, and then at some point, Shanahan was like, "Well, Purdy's better. What are we going to do? He's better." Yeah, You're right. Like I think in terms of the quarterback, yes, clearly. The Browns like Dylan Gabriel more than they like Shador Sanders going into the draft. Otherwise, they wouldn't have drafted Gabriel ahead of Shador Sanders. But, and Dylan Gabriel's not getting cut. He was the 90 whatever pick in the draft. You're not cutting a guy you drafted, beginning of the 3rd round. But if Shador outplays him all off season, he'll be higher up the depth chart for year 1. I don't think there's any doubt about that.
1,000%.
And that's the thing with the Browns core. And money also plays a role, not just draft pick. Like, if you've spent a lot of money on a guy, you're going to keep giving him chances. That's why Deshaun Watson, kept getting opportunities, because they guaranteed him a ton of money. But none of the 4 Browns quarterbacks are making any significant money. I don't think the amount of money that Joe Flacco could potentially make, or that Kenny Pickett would make this year, is going to factor into whether or not they play or start or even if they're on the team. I don't think that matters.
Right. No, totally agree.
Yeah. So
especially at the quarterback position.
Yeah.
Especially.
That's right. Speaking of which, I've referenced this guy with you a bunch of times because you mentioned when you were in Buffalo, there was a guy named Jibran Hamden, right?
Yeah.
Did I pronounce it right?
You did.
I recently saw a video. It was randomly. I was like, mindlessly scrolling through Instagram.
Okay.
And I saw a video of him, and it was with, I can't remember, some coach he had somewhere in the NFL. And this coach, believed in him and wanted to keep giving him opportunities. And he, reconnected with him years later. I think it was Spurrier. And
because he was in Washington with Spurrier,
right?
With the Redskins at the time, and they liked him,
right? And I was like, oh, this is so funny because we've talked about this guy a few times.
Yeah, because he was a baller, dude.
Yeah, but he never really got a chance.
He never played.
No. Anyway, he seems to be doing well. I think he's doing some media stuff. By the way, an old buddy of ours that we liked, I forgot to tell you, is going to be with me on the podcast on Tuesday. Joe Schobert.
Oh yeah, what's he up to?
he and his wife. So his wife was like I say was, I don't know if she still is, but a professional dancer, and the two of them opened up a dance studio. It's called like Show Dance or whatever, like SCHO dance or
Yeah.
I can't
Is it
remember
in
exactly.
Cleveland?
No. It's in I want to say Colorado, I believe. I think they moved to Colorado. It's a cute story. He and his wife met in like high school, and she had to when she was in high school, she had to ask one of the football players to the prom, like that was a thing. I don't know if she was a cheerleader or whatever, and so they went to the prom together, and they've been together ever since. They went to college together. It's really cute. But anyway, I wanted to see what Joe was up to. Now he's been retired a couple of years, and so Joe's going to be on next week. So on Tuesday's show, check out Joe's show. We always liked Joe. He was such
Awesome.
a great guy. Good player. Had that one Pro Bowl season. Really nice year. Let's get to some comments from the fans here. Michael says, good morning. Good morning, Michael.
Good morning.
Let's see. Author Jeff Kasiba says, Buckeyes in the house. I guess Jeff is also a Buckeye. Steve says, Vegas still has faith in the Cavs. I hope that can give them more of the motivation. It's interesting because, again, the Cavs are still favored. I'm sorry. The Pacers are favored to win the series, but the Cavs are favored to win the game tonight at this point.
Which is bizarre. By the way, I looked up the futures to the Cavaliers to win the title still.
Yeah.
They're about 9-1.
Are they the biggest? They got to be the biggest long shot at this point, no?
No, they're the third or fourth.
Oh, there it is. All right, here we go. Thunder plus 110, Celtics plus 350, Cavs plus 800. Still the third choice.
8-1. Yeah, how about that?
Which is weird because the Pacers are the favorites to win the series.
That makes not a lot of sense, right?
Yeah, we'll see. Betting on the Pacers a couple of bucks right now wouldn't be a terrible move the way they've played. But hopefully I'm wrong about that. Steve says the Cavs can't win when Donovan scores that much. What choice did they have? Who else was scoring? They're playing at the end of the game with Dean Wade and Isaac Okoro on the floor. Those guys can't score.
I went to that game Sunday, by the way, and it was painful to watch that offense because they're moving the ball well. They're taking way too many threes. Way too many threes.
That's been their game all year, but they're just not hitting them now.
That's been the Celtics' problem here too. I mean, they're shooting like 25% from three.
Yeah. It's been bizarre. Big J Bone says, not trying to put a damper, but all season my mother has been praising the team, and I've been like, okay, let's see how the playoffs go, Mom. Well,
I hear you.
J Bone calling out his mom.
Yeah.
Let's see. RJ, Dustin is at Jimmy's mansion about to board the Jay Crawford yacht. Any truth to that?
I wish. I wish.
Let's see. Big J-Bone. Donovan tipped the ball out of Allen's hands on that rebound that went to Halliburton. That's true. Obviously, you didn't mean to, but on that play that when the ball got back to Halliburton, it looked like Jared Allen had the rebound, and Donovan, of course, hustling, happened to knock it out of his hands. What are you going to do? It's
same team. Yo, same.
I know. Ryan says Coach Atkinson needs to sit guys if they struggle that badly. Big J-Bone was screaming point shaving during the game. Ryan says Jerome is better off the bench, but he's been off the bench. He hasn't started any of these games. Let's see. What else we got here? Kirk says, any word on DG playing?
I haven't heard.
And there's been nothing yet. Nothing yet. Finally, the Guardians win yesterday, and they take the series against the Nats, winning 2 out of 3 in that one. Guardians win 8-6. The Bats cooking the last 3 games. They've scored 26 runs in their last 3 games. So even going back a little further, 36 runs in their last 5 games, which is over 7 runs per game. Guardians are 22-15, a game and a half back of Detroit. We're just about at the quarter pole of the season. Guardians begin a a 3-game series tomorrow. They're off today. They come home for a 6-game homestand. They got 3 games with Philly, who's playing much better. Really fast. I mean, good pitchers you're going to be facing. This will be a challenge for the Guardians this weekend. Gavin Williams against Aaron Nola on Friday. Tanner Bybee against Ranger Suarez on Saturday. And Sunday is Luis Ortiz and Zach Wheeler. Those are some tough pitching matchups. Then the Brewers come to town before the Guardians go on another long road trip. All right, speaking of road trips, Dustin, have fun getting back from West Virginia. I'll see you tomorrow on UCSS. Folks, I'll see you all on UCSS today and tomorrow. I'll see you on Betting Weekly Hardball this afternoon at 2 o'clock. And I'll be, there you go. I'll be on at 2 o'clock there. And I'll also be on tomorrow night after Game 3, Cavs-Pacers, right here in the bullpen. Until then, thanks to Max and Z for producing. We'll talk to you next time. Where else but right here in the bullpen with Bull and Fox by Brett Rivers. Love you, everybody. Have a good night.